Hey everyone, Nam here. For those of you who personally know me, it's Lacey Harmon. Um, this is just a video that I wanted to make. It's one of those personal videos, I guess. Nothing too personal where I'm like airing my dirty laundry. I'm just saying, looking back on something that I had done about a decade ago, or for a decade anyway, for my life. And that was powerlifting. Matter of fact, I had a YouTube channel for a while, uploading my workouts when I would attempt max lifts on the bench, the squat, the deadlift. Um, and I come from the Hughesville, Pennsylvania area. Just a shout out to the Spartans. It's just crazy. Just you grow up thinking, you want to leave your hometown area. You just think you'd be so much better off somewhere else. And then at least in my case, I'm just saying, you turn back and you realize, just how blessed and how much you actually love the place. This is because I'm gonna make two videos. This video is, do I regret giving up powerlifting? When I did give it up, um, it was in late 2012. My body just was kind of physically so much pain. I had suffered sciatica problems. My lower back would sometimes be pinched, and that's what screwed up my sciatica too. It was actually in 2007 when I was deadlifting. I remember when I came up on the third rep, I was doing 605. A shock went in my back and all the way down my left leg, and I was walking like this for a week. I eventually healed, or it got better where I was able to tolerate it, but there was always this funny pinch or something when I would walk for the rest of my life, up to this day a little bit because of that. In the long run, it did actually it affected my squat more than deadlift, if you can believe it or not. But at the time, I thought I did the right thing because it was just building up, and I had seen a guy at the gym um, who was huge as hell, but he was walking like this, and it just gave me like an epiphany. It's like, whoa, do I really want to be like that when I'm 40? No, I gave up a lot. I was deadlifting over 700. My squat was pretty low considering my body weight. I was about 260. My bench was 505 though. That's why I say it was low considering my body weight. I mean, I think it should have been higher than 600 anyway, regardless. But I had just good technique down with the bench press. I kind of felt like I mastered that over the years to get it to a respectable number considering my body weight. The most I ever did in competition was 402. The most I ever did was 505, like I said. But I have 500 on film, but I didn't get 505 on film. But 5 pound difference, I'm sure you'll believe. Like I said, at the time did I regret giving it up? No. Now I look back at it, at the decision I made, and it is a decision I do regret because it was something the sport, something I was ambitious about, something I was passionate about, powerlifting. I think the main reason also, besides the injury, is because I had no income. And looking back on it, I could have reached out to supplement companies, brand companies, and just hey, here's basically my resume. Here are my lifts. Here are my stats. Here I've also done competitions. I look back and I figured or look at it. I was like, I kind of blew it. That's on me. That's my fault. I think that's where the regret comes in. Also, I think if I had reached out sooner too, and the way social media is today too, compared to what it was even like in 2006, 2007 when I started doing some competitions. I think maybe the word of mouth, or just had I lifted in 2017, 2018, if it had been a different time, I think I maybe would have been able to be able to reach out easier and quicker too. But not, nevertheless, it's just I look back and I think it was a missed opportunity for me. And going with that, I think that maybe I would have been able to gain more knowledge too, because a lot of times what I see with a lot of lifters, even some great lifters. I'll say example. There's this guy named Chris Hickson. He has lifted with Eric Lillibridge. Eric Lillibridge, arguably the greatest powerlifter in the world right now. Maybe even will be when it's all said and done when he decides to hang it up, and hopefully for his sake, not for a while. But I'm just saying, Chris Hickson was a freak on the deadlift, but uh, I think he suffered a serious quad injury. I don't know all the details, so I don't want to assume. I'm just saying, though, I gotta assume that he was like me in a way. We loved lifting heavy. That was the passion where it came from. We just loved the heavy weight, and the reps as many times as possible. I was like that too. I think it was like an obsession. It was like a drug. We got a high from that. I think the difference though between lifters like, I'm not trying to put myself like in Chris Hickson's category, but I mean we had that drive and we were able to lift heavy weights. The difference between like Chris Hickson and someone like me, as opposed to Eric Lillibridge, who lifts uh, extremely enormous amounts of weight, Eric realized that I think he learned from his father that you have to give your body rest, and I noticed it too because Eric, it's like there's always big intervals or time frame from when he uh, like for example, we'll just use the squat. Like I noticed, like he'll even put it like I haven't squatted this heavy in 6 months or 8 months. That's the thing. He allowed his body to heal and rest. That's why he's still doing it. I think he's like a year younger than me, so he's going to be pushing 30 soon as well. But that's why he's still I mean, he's had his injuries, but I mean, nothing too severe where it's threatened his powerlifting career. Where it's like Chris Hickson and I, we just kept going and going and going and going, and wanted to, keep going off that high that we got, and eventually I think it caught up to us. And for my story, I think it got to the point where it's like, uh, I wasn't, I was just becoming run down, and it meant not only physically did it drain me, but mentally it started like to drain me. That's where I got to. It's like, and I felt like I wasn't getting anything out of it. You do things for the love of it, but I mean, I wasn't getting anything out of it financially. And it's like, well, they say if you do, if you love what you do and if you get paid for it, it's not work. It's what I'm trying to say is, if you go to work and you actually enjoy what you're doing, you never work. You go to your job and you actually enjoy what you're doing, you never work a day in your life. That was what I had to hope I could have done with powerlifting, but it wasn't meant to be, I guess, or I just learned the hard way, unfortunately. Um, so yes, I do have regrets with giving up powerlifting. I wish, looking back at it, I would have approached it differently. Um, and when I very first started, if I had all the knowledge I had right now, back then, I definitely would have taken advantage of it. Hindsight's 2020, obviously. My advice, and I didn't really get a chance to say my advice to new lifters is allow your body to heal. Don't lift heavy all the time. Um, when you first start, you're going to probably keep growing and growing and growing, so you're probably going to be able to get away with it. But if you become competitive with it, or you become good with it, and you start getting serious with it, where you're going to be, lifting big numbers, you're going to need more time off because it's more of a stress to your body, and so it's you have to, and I mean, and I am strict when I say this, you have to give your body time to lift. Because I even have people say, man, I'm in I can't get past this. I just benched 385, but I can't get past it for some reason. Well, I ask people how many times they lift, and it's like, well, I do bench in like 2 times a week, and it's like that's too much, obviously, or how many times, or what their training method is, and it's like every time they give me an answer, it's they do too much, and they're not giving themselves enough time to heal. So, I mean, So the answer to this video is, do I regret giving up powerlifting? Yes, I do. But where I'm at in my life right now, I mean, I am happy. I did take up not powerlifting, lifting in general again. I'm about 220. Um, I just do upper body. I know the joke is like, you get the big upper body and no legs, but I, I try to do deadlifts, but I don't have a squat rack, so that's more kind of the reason why I don't do legs so much. I hate doing lunges. I don't even have a leg extension machine or something to do hamstring curls. I know I can go to a gym, but I still feel like fucking dealing with people having to wait for a machine possibly. But I mean, I'm doing good. I'm about 220, and then my bench is probably nearing 350 again. And I just did like 205 for like 20 reps. Um, so, I mean, I'm doing all right. Uh, I mean, another reason why I guess I don't do the deadlift and the squat right now is I don't feel like I can give 100% to do it anyway, to do the whole powerlifting thing as a whole. If I'm not going to give 100% to it, there's no point in me doing it. But like just doing what I do right now, I'm happy with myself and I'm content with that. So, who knows? But I mean, I would like to get some of my strength back, at least with my bench press. It's just fun. Yeah, I mean, it's a big it's something that I think it's just good for me mentally, more so than just physically itself. So I mean, yeah, I mean, Hughesville people who went to Metamorphosis and people who like lift at the local gym, other local gyms as well. I mean, like, Metamorphosis was, like one of those small type of hardcore gyms, kind of. I mean, it was funny because it's like downstairs was a video rental store, but upstairs was the lifting. You would think the lifting would be downstairs because if you're lifting heavy weights, you won't want it on the top, and then possibly falling through. But that's what it was. I mean, you had the squat rack, you had the line of the dumbbell rack, you had a couple bench presses or benches for bench pressing. You even had incline bench. You had dip for dipping station, lat pull downs, T-bar rows. Just to get some of the assistance work in, so you can, to help you with your main three lifts. No one really ever came in and did Olympic lifting so much. Um, but no, I never really saw that. Not that anyone did do cleans or anything, but it was if a lot. I mean, the average lifter who came in, it was always just working on their bench and arms probably. But the people, I mean, my training partner Jim Savage, I mean, uh, he was a big factor in my powerlifting career. But he was a hell of a training partner. I mean, there was times when I remember this one time when I was squatting, I was on my fourth rep with 425. I felt like stopping, but he was right in my ear saying, "Come on, get another one." And the fact that, when you have a training partner like that, it allowed me to get 4 more reps. I remember I puked after that. When he saw that, he puked. But that's how much passion and drive I had for the sport. Um, but it was a happy time in my life. That was over a decade ago. I can't believe how fast time's gone. Would I love it if I was still doing that and if I was able to make a nice career out of it? Absolutely. But like I said, and I regret giving it up. But there were so many other things going into, not just the physical uh, aspect of it, but mental things. I was also burnt out, um, and it just at that time it just seemed to be a perfect uh, you know reason to let go as much as because I remember when I decided to say I'm done with powerlifting. It was really hard for me. It was like, I hate to say this, but it was like losing a child. I know that's really extreme to make that kind of comparison, but that I just felt empty without it. But I felt it was just coming to like I get maybe a better analogy would be you're in a relationship with someone, you love them, but then you feel the relationship is not going anywhere. It's not, it's not strengthening, or you feel it's not working out. You still love the person, but you can't keep living this lie, so to speak, that that it's just not working out like you had hoped. So I guess that's maybe the best analogy for it. That's all I really wanted to say. Is anyone from the Hughesville area, just you notice in my pictures I'm not as big or as strong, or if you ever wonder, say Lincoln doesn't look like he's big anymore, or looks as strong like he used to be, and well, there's a reason why. To kind of give you a little backstory, I just came to a point where it was just physically taking its toll on me, and then mentally I just I started to actually just exercise to stay in shape, and then for a period there for like in 2014, 15, and part of 2016, I just stopped doing it. Went through bouts of depression. Uh, my mother died then in the very beginning of 2017. And ironically enough, I mean, I was still when that happened, I was detaching emotions from everything. But I think um, just thinking about it recently, I think looking at it because my mom died at a relatively young age, it just made me realize I can't live with regret or let my depression control me all the time. I got to keep doing. I had to find something to that made me feel happy again, and it's like, well, I mean, lifting's there, so I mean, why not go back to try doing something I did enjoy doing? But I'm not going, like I said, I'm not going all out, not fully 100% doing powerlifting, but I'm doing my bench press, for body, shoulders. Need to work on my back leg, but doing shoulders, chest, triceps, biceps. Um, basically a lot of that movement. Uh, I've done back a little bit, but um, that's basically the sum of it right now. I just wanted to basically, you know, give a story. This video's gone on long enough, so with that said, as always, I'm Nam, and always use your noodle.